Fun fact, my name is Quasi Powell. My stage name is Quasi. For those of you who don't know, my birth name is Quasi. I was born in New York and I was raised here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I identify as Quasi. My pronoun is Quasi. It's not what I'm called, it's what I answer to. And as long as the check clears, then I'm good. I've never had a qualms about somebody calling me he, she, or it, or, well, it might be a problem. But I think quasi in the English language is a prefix to seemingly somewhat. And for me, it just fits appropriate to who the person I am. I was born in Rockville, then my parents brought me back to Cincinnati. My mother is originally from Cincinnati. My father is originally from Cairo, Georgia, but they were both pretty much raised in tri-state area. I never really came out. I was always quasi a kid. I stick with that because that's all I knew. All I knew was how to be me. I didn't know how to be anything else. I was a kid that would always wear, like everybody wanted to wear penny loafers. I wanted tassel loafers. Everybody wanted Levi's. I wanted Lee jeans or Jordache. I just was always odd. And not out in a bad way, but I didn't want to follow whatever the norm was. So I never really came out. I was out when I was out. I grew up in Roselawn. I went to Roselawn Condon, left there, and then ended up going to, high school I went to was Roger Bacon, a Catholic high school. When the year I started, 1984, it combined the girls' school and the boys' school. So a lot of my peers, a lot of people that I went to school with, a lot of people in my neighborhood we didn't want to go to Woodward, so we ended up going to Roger Bacon. From high school, I tried UC, Raymond Walters, I believe it was. I tried that for a little while, and I did pretty good, but what turned me off is we took, I think it was an English class. And we were asked to read the story and to interpret the story. When the teacher told us our interpretation was wrong, I didn't understand that. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. I grew up one way, so your interpretation is going to be one way, and mine's going to be different. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be in a place where they're going to tell me I'm wrong. And then I remember taking an economics class, and they were all with the Wall Street. They all had Wall Street journals and business magazines, and I just wanted Vogue or Essence magazine. And I'm like, I don't think this is a place for me. So I ended up going to Anton Ollie and taking fashion merchandising for 2 years. And I enjoyed that so much. Not only was it in fashion or dealing with fashion, but it taught me how to network with people. I like high school and the college I went to they made me more sociable and made me just kind of the person I am. Allowed me to be me with a big mouth. At this time, one of my first jobs was I was a caddy, and I think my mother said the first one, I have a brother, to get a job will get $5. And I don't care what it was, but I got the job. Eventually, McDonald's ended up coming to the high school and trying to hire people. I ended up working for McDonald's. Don't remember how long. And then I remember Swift and Commons Mall in Bond Hill were having a team board, and they were doing auditions for the team board. Well, I made the team board, and then they were looking for somebody to hire as like a runner or something in the mall. And I ended up becoming part of the management team there, while also working at a record store and then a dress shop. And I think I was doing all that at the same time with McDonald's, but I ended up phasing McDonald's out. Well, with fashion, going to Antonelli, one of my very best friends, Greg, was like, oh, we should go to see a drag show. And I'm like, okay, I'm game. But we knew you had to be 21 in there, but you couldn't, I wasn't 21, he wasn't 21. So somehow they let us in the bar because we had to pay to get in, and we watched the drag show. So, so I started going to the bars. There was another bar in Clifton called Beat Club where everyone wore black, and it was very a stylish kind of club or beatnik club. So we would go there. Somehow I entered, I was doing fashion shows as well. So I segued into fashion shows, and then I was old enough to get into the doc, and I ended up meeting a lot of people there, just so many people. And then I was already modeling as well. So all that kind of combined. Ultimately, between drag, well, club kids back in the 90s, I was one of those. Then somebody asked me to be part of a drag show. And they were like, "Oh, $50 to do 3 numbers." And I thought, I don't know how to do drag. I don't know how to be androgynous. And they were like, "Can you be in the show?" I was like, $50, that's a lot. I was like, "Yeah, I'll be there." That's where it started. It just me. There was no presenting. It was just me. I didn't pick or choose whatever. Like if I saw women's clothing that I liked, I wore it and I bought it. I bought it and wore it. I didn't really care. And then half the time people didn't really know. I still do that today. We'll buy women's clothing and nobody really knows whether it's men's or women's. And so even if, they sell dresses for men actually now, which is weird, but I was buying it before skirts with, remember we were wearing pleat skirts. And I was like, I still do that. But I don't think of it, I think it's just fashion to me. I don't pick like boy girl clothes, I just pick fashionable clothes. It was called Cooters in Clifton, where Kroger's is now, in Clifton. B Club, the original name, the name of the club is called Cooters. On Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday nights, it was called B Club. So that's where a lot of sort of beatnik, backbeat, alternative people would hang out. The great thing was everybody wore black. It wasn't necessarily a dress code, but that's just what we all did. And I met so many cool people. Ended up doing several fashion shows there. It was such a cool space. A bunch of artists. And I think the drinks were 50 cents at the time. I know. Why? So B Club was fun. And it turned in, it was that. And then somehow or another, years had gone by. And then I think they got rid of the B Club. And then Thursday night was like the gay night. But on the B Club nights, it was gay, straights, everybody who loved everybody. Mostly artists, hairdressers, and people of that nature.
Do you have a rough idea how long that club was open?
Oh, 80. For me, it may have been like 4 years, maybe.
What time period were you going to it?
Oh, let's see. It had to be 82, 83, 84. I think it was around there, yeah. There was the dock. I would hang out there. Then there was a place called Carl's Place, where mostly the black kids hung out. Carl's was across from Convention Center on maybe 5th Street? No, 4th Street. Yes. For me, it was, I think it was a climate of still didn't know, still questioning. But for me, I present myself as a human more than anything. So I've never had any altercations or issues about who I am. I know I had worked in a record store for years in Kenwood Town Center, and I had long hair, but then I would add hair to that hair. And a lot of times I remember I'd be working in the window of the record store, and I could hear people coming up the escalator going, "God damn, look at all that hair." And then I would be in the window on the cash register, and people would walk by, but then they'd walk back to just see what they saw. And I remember I was standing in front of the store, welcoming people to the store. These people were coming up to up the escalator, because the escalator was in front of the store. Like, "Is that all his hair?" I had worn my real hair that day. And they're like, "Is that all his hair?" Like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that's all his hair." And they're kind of mad, but I didn't take it as a negative. I'm thinking, yeah, if you took care of your hair, you could grow something too. And I don't know how young I was, but people at some points always thought I was a girl. I didn't take it as hostile. I remember asking a friend, I'd have my hair in a ponytail, and I'd have a 5 o'clock shadow, and I thought, am I trans? Should I be a woman? I'm like, I got a size 12 foot. I got a big head. I don't know. I didn't think I looked like a woman. And so I asked my friend, I said, "Do you think I'm trans or what?" And he was like, "Well, no." He goes, "It's what people see." And it's what people know. And I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, obviously, they know women with long hair and beards. And I thought, well, I'm not transit. I'm just me. I was like playing that fence. I didn't like it. It's just part of who I was. I always played the fence. I look a lot like my mother, so that's where it is. I never took offense to it. It just made me question my own sexuality. And when this friend had explained it to me, I'm like, oh, I feel good just like I am. I'm good. I'm great. I'm not cutting nothing off. I'm not adding nothing on. I'm glad with what God gave me. And a lot of times when I first started doing drag, people thought I had silicone. I had my lips done. I had my hips done. And I made a joke about it. I'm like, no, I didn't do any work, but let me tell you what to do. You need to go to Burger King and get the chicken sandwich and get a fruit punch. Don't get a Coke. You gotta get the fruit punch, because if you get a Coke, you'll fuck it up. So that's how I got ass.
That's the secret.
That was the secret.
You heard it here first.
Get the fruit punch, because if you get the Coke, you're gonna fuck it up. The chicken sandwich meal. Got it. But it was just what God gave me. Yeah, we always want to fix stuff. We always want to, correct stuff when, blah, blah, blah. But I was just happy with who I was. I think the only thing I had ever done, like my family, we all have gaps in our teeth, and they're the size of a whole tooth missing. I think that was the only thing I ever did was get my gap filled. Other than that, I just used what I had. I did the one show, and it just spiraled. People just started asking me to do more and more shows. I loved doing them. It wasn't, I'm like, I remember I never wanted to be a drag queen. I just like, no, I don't look like a woman. And then when they kept asking me, I kept doing them. And I think I may have been doing drag for maybe 2 years. And I was asked to be the show director at the Dock, which was the major drag club in the city. And I'm just like, yeah. And I asked my drag mother, Darlene Love, I was like, well, what do you think? She says, well, if you don't like it, you can always quit. And I said, well, yeah, that's true. And I've always been a producer to a degree in my life. And then I was there for 12, 13, maybe 14 years as a show director.
What year did you start a show director?
95, 96, I think. I started drag, I always remember by a Mary J. Blige song that came out. That's how I remember. I think it was 96 of when I started. But I was there for a long time. I produced so many shows. I met so many people. I mean, people still kind of come up to me today and like, oh, I remember you from the Dock, or you gave me my first show at the Dock. And I'm like, did I? You have to, those are some very hazy days. You have to remind me. Or people are like, oh my God, I'm from the Dock. And I'm like, did we sleep together? I can't. Those are the hazy years. You call sometimes you want to go, oh, those are the good years. No, those are the hazy years. I did a lot of stuff. But I wasn't addicted to anything.
How did you meet your drag mother?
Well, when I was still doing like fashion shows or whatever, if I needed, like I had to do a vampire show, she put me in some vampire makeup. And I had known her for years. I don't even know how long we had known each other. But she showed me how to do my makeup. And she gave me the basis of what to do. And I remember one day saying, okay, you got to stop doing this because I got to figure this stuff out. And she showed me what my lines were, how to contour, how to do my eyes, my eyebrows, a lot of stuff. And so I took the basis of what she did, and I still kind of stick with the contouring with powder. Well, a lot of girls would take foundation and contour with foundation and then go over it with powder. And I'm thinking, that's a lot of damn money. Like, I'm not spending all that money for the same face that y'all put on with 12 different shadows. Not doing it. And she showed me the base, and I've stuck with that. And then as you keep going, you learn new stuff changes, and I try to my best to keep up with what's current and what I can do with my face. Darlene has passed away. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. A lot of people I kind of grew up with are no longer here. which is crazy. One of my mentors was Shirako. I couldn't like coming at a little, huh?
Tell me about Shirako.
Like as not a little kid, but as a newbie queen, she was so welcoming. She gave me so many life lessons. I mean, I was still producing shows. I was the one putting her in the show, and I'm like, oh. And she was she'd been doing this for a while. And I remember she said something to me. She said, Quasi, don't ever do a show for free. Get paid something. Even if it's a chicken sandwich or some White Castles, get paid for a show. Don't work for free because you work everybody else out the business. And I so remember that. I remember she did my hair twice. We came up with this huge idea for this hair weave. And I think I bought several bundles of 2 different red colors, 2 different blonde colors. And she put it had to be like 6 packs of hair in my head. It was the most incredible hair weave anybody had ever seen. And I was like, well, how much do I owe you? She goes, oh, nothing, girl. You just put 6 bundles of hair in my head and I don't owe you nothing? Like, she was just happy to do it. I mean, she gave everything. She gave to everybody. I adored her and respected her. So she kind of came before me. So when I was introduced to her, she was at the dock. And then every now and then she'd be in Dayton at 1470, but mostly at the dock. She was it was Hurricane, Shirako, and Chelsea Perron. Well, I had a very good Judy named Mercedes, who's now in Chicago. Jarier Rashad, who is my godbrother in real life, or god sister. Who else did we have? Oh, there's another named Lauren Kelly. We all Jari was before us, but we kind of worked, we were the newbies, and we kind of stuck together. But I also booked people who were legendary to me. And my idea was not to have me in every show, but to put on a good show that I would want to see. And then at some point, they made me be in every show because they were like, people came to see it. I'm like, do they really? In any case, I always put the shows together that I would want to see that was going to make it different than anybody else's show. So we did productions. I remember bringing trees from outside to decorate the bar. I'd be there first thing in the morning till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Didn't have to come back and do the show. Like I would be decorating, booking. So a lot of I would book Shirako, Hurricane, Chelsea. National entertainers, Cezanne, Tasha Long, Chabelle Brooks, Destiny Hunter. I booked all these people. I met so many incredibly nice people. And then at one point, they started calling me I had a show called Showcase Sundays, which was just an offbeat show. You did 2 numbers and you got the hell out of there. And I had national entertainers calling me to be in that show. And I'm like, well, they don't pay that much. Oh, girl, I'm coming. Like they were calling me to come where this very low paid show they wanted to be at. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So that was the finesse I had to make sure there was going to be an audience there no matter what was going to happen.
That sounds like it was great for you. Like you got to be your creative self and do all of the things. You got to be part of fashion. You got to be.
I did. I certainly did. Producing takes a lot of work, but it's what I loved. I love putting together a great show. I love putting together a show that I would love to see. I love putting a production that I would want to see. As exhausting as it could be. I remember one time I got pneumonia because I was pulling those trees. I had somebody cut the trees, but they were in the rain. I had to go outside to pull them in and get them hung in the barn. And I got pneumonia. Go figure. But I love what I did. There were so many memorable times we had, productions. We did the Haunted Love Boat. All the bartenders dressed it up like dead. Ship crew. We did, what else did we do? Oh yeah, for the production we did Solid Gold. We did Solid Gold. Darling Love was Dionne Warwick. She was on one box. And she had the Solid Gold sign over her, and me, Caress, and Monica St. James, we were the Pointer Sisters on a whole different box. And this is the time when the lighting was spectacular. Like you could do all kinds of things with light to give out really big productions, and that was fun. What else did we do? We did a haunted Scooby-Doo. So somehow I found this disco version of Scooby-Doo. I had Gregorian chants playing at the beginning of the thing. We all had flashlights and hoods, but you saw all these flashlights coming from different lights from different directions, and we all ended up on the center box. And then all of a sudden, we all take up the capes, and it's this disco version of Scooby-Doo. It was, I was not Velma, Daphne. I was Daphne.
What kinds of people were hanging out at the dock at that time?
Everybody. And all kinds of people. It became more, that's when I saw there were more straight people coming to the show. That's the time that I noticed people were coming for the show. And you didn't have to be gay to be there. Like when I had the Friday night show was so packed. And then also at the end of the show, I would give away prizes. And they would clamor for these $1 prizes. Like, are y'all serious? Like, you go get some at the dollar store. But it was such a fun night. I was kind of proud, kind of too drunk to remember, to kind of appreciate what was going on. But I was doing it. Rob Corman was the owner. Kathy Surge was a manager at the time, and that hired me as a show director. And then I think Don, I forgot Don's last name, ended up managing. But yeah, I was there all day, all night. I was decorating the bar. I was doing record release shows. I was helping bring in, Lady Bunny was there, Robin S., Kim Hamilton, Jennifer Holliday. This is when we had singers coming and not RuPaul girls. Singers coming to the bar, and I got to meet a lot of them. Lady Bunny was sweet as pie. Jennifer Holliday was adorable. Robin S. was sweet. Rosala was sweet. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was incredible to, it was incredible to experience all that. Of course, it goes to your head, like, no, you get, and I didn't realize how much it went to my head and how big my head was. And then, in retrospect, yeah, I was not nice to people. I apologize for that. But it was just part of the world. Like, I appreciate all those people that I booked, that I had, that came in, came out, and that remember me from being there. Because obviously, a lot of people had a good time. Oh, yeah. Everything I do now is I'm humbled. Like, I'm 53, and I'm still getting asked to do shows.
You're performing today, aren't you?
Yes. And he helps me. He helps me get, keeps me organized a little bit better, because now it's like coming in left and right. And I'm like, where are we this weekend? What am I supposed to be doing? And I'm just blessed. Personally, I've been through a lot medically. In 2008, I found out I had kidney failure. And then I received a kidney donor in 2014. And then this year will be 11 years post-transplant. And so now I had COVID, there's a bunch of stuff, but I'm blessed, and I'm still here. And I'm so glad to still be here and doing what I love. The doc was probably the place, the satellite of the gay community. So I was being involved in all of the fundraisers. I was part of helping put that together. I was part of putting our Pride stuff together. Did I work? I may have worked at other places, but very, very little, because my whole thing, at the time I had two shows, the Friday night and the Sunday night, and then whatever was going on during the week that may have popped up, or on a Saturday, we had a national entertainer come in, or during the week there was a promotion like Mariah Carey's album release, or whoever's album release was coming up. I had to make, and then we also added Darkotica, which was the the grunge, you know what I'm talking about. So I helped start that. I started the decor, and then I forget the DJ's name that did the music. And then they had other people come in. So when they told me they were doing it, I had bought every candle in the city, and I tried to buy every candelabra in the city. And then the bar also had like old used bar glasses that I could use as candles. So I had decorated, the place should have burned down, but it didn't. So I was responsible for giving the ambiance of the bar. So they turned off, they lowered the lights, and then it was gorgeous. The whole place was just in candlelight, which I thought was gorgeous, which suited the theme. Yeah. I don't remember. I know I had been there between 12 and 15 years. I don't remember what year that was. I left because there was a conflict between me and the owner's boyfriend, husband at the time, and he thought he knew what people wanted more than I did. And he had made several comments about, he made a comment that they paid me more than I was worth. I had never had a supervisor manager say anything like that to me when I was the one there all day in the ceiling, outside, in the rain, making sure all the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted. And I thought, it's time for me to go. And I left some good money. But I believe that if I don't stand for something, I'll fall for anything. And I left. Yeah, it was time for me to go. And I appreciated everything it was. It was something I did regret. Of course, I scrounged around for money, but I have some pride. I have some pride, and that line was crossed. I kind of did freelance for a little while. Eventually, I went with Penny to Adonis. I think that's where we went. I just remember Penny always saying, wherever I go, you're going. Because Penny was part of the cast at the doc at some point too. And she says, wherever I go, you're going. And she stuck to it. Because after I did the doc, I was on the cast at Adonis, and then I did the cast at the Cabaret. And she's so easy to work with, and so, I don't know. I look up to her. Although I gave her let me say this. I gave her first show at the doc, and just saying. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Me. She's short. She is, she's a force. Between her time at Adonis and Cabaret, she was a force. I'm sure she's going to be any entertainer. She's going to be a part of their story, in some way, shape, form. I'll try to get her. Yes, I'll talk to her. The funny thing is, she talks a lot. Yeah, right. Well, you have to edit a lot, girl. For real, like she would. Woo! I remember backstage, we would. She'd go on and she'd do the monologue, and we'd be in the back going, shut up, hurry up, stop talking. Like, is she gonna shut up? Girl, I don't know. And she knows it. I knew, don't ask me years because I don't remember. I remember I wasn't on cast, and well, here's what happened. The Cabaret started. We did a show called The Chinese Buffet and Under the Big Top. And they were just production shows that we put together because there was nothing going on upstairs. So we did those two shows, and we made a lot of money. So then her and Nigel at the time combined forces to make it a showroom. And then the showroom was making money. They were doing well. And I think at the time I don't know if I was having kidney transplant or what the hell was going on. But eventually I made it onto the cast there. And Cabaret was legendary. World renowned.
How long were you there?
Until it closed. Yeah. Don't ask me years because.
No, that's okay. Cause I can put the years.
I was there. I started later than everybody else because I finally had the transplant and I was good to go. Because before I was doing dialysis, and those days would be kind of weakening. And then I remember I was doing dialysis and I had a port in my chest, and I had wires coming on my chest when we were at Adonis. So I thought it'd be the Sarah Jessica Parker of drag. So I bought flowers, all different color flowers to clip to my dialysis tubes. in case somebody saw, I'm like, girl, oh. They were like, girl, can you still perform? Yes, girl. Just put a flower on it. It'll be all right. Dialysis, I did drag. After the kidney, I did drag. I had a hip replacement. That laid me off for a while. But I did go back with a cane and a wheelchair. I wasn't going back with 2-inch heels. I was going back with a full heel. And I thought, I'm going back. Either I'm going to be in the wheel, and I think the whole time I had the cane. I could do like 2 moves. But I was out there. Not going to keep me down. Not going to keep me down. And they thought, yeah, doing dialysis, girl, you supposed to be performing. I'm here. If I pass out, I did what I love doing. Back then, it was changing only for the fact, that it was on TV. So you had Jerry Springer. Actually, Jerry Springer's team used to always call the bar. They used to call the bar to see if we wanted to be a part of some story or whatever. So with that, that recognition on TV that, hey, we're out here, then people started coming, that generation of kids started coming and hanging out. There was really no, there really wasn't any kind of like forces that were like saying we were wrong. We didn't really have any fights. I mean, we're still kind of coming through the end of AIDS and that, but other than that, we were kind of being more recognized. Like RuPaul had started around that same time. So it was becoming more mainstream.
Did you have people in your life who were seriously impacted by AIDS?
Yes. Yes.
You don't have to.
I don't know what there is to talk about. I mean,
Close to you that...
I supported them all. I lost, we lost several. I knew a lot who had passed away from it. People are going to do what they want to do. We all had the same information of how not to do it. But I always loved everybody, and they told you how you could get it and how you couldn't get it, and I just love people. Love them to the dying day.
Do you ever feel like that was like a fear in your life?
No, not really. I didn't have a fear that I was going to get it, because I knew how not to get it. People who had it didn't fear me at all. I wasn't afraid of it. Yeah, I mean, I ended up started working with people with developmental disabilities, so they didn't scare me. They didn't make me feel afraid. They were just people who just wanted to live their best life. And people who had HIV, I actually went to, the first time I went to go test it, I thought, oh, I got it. I got diarrhea. I'm always tired. My face is breaking out. I thought I had it. Like, I was checking every box. And my friend was like, girl, stop it. So we both got tested together. We both went back to get results. And he found out he was positive and I wasn't. And we're still friends. And he's still alive. So, I mean, he's had issues of stuff popping up. But he's still here. I come from the day where they had condoms at the bar. You don't see condoms hanging out at the bar anymore, or in the bathroom, do you?
Not so much.
No. Every bar you went to, there was a jar of condoms, there was a jar of lube. I think we need to go back to that just because, but still, it's still here. Not many people are getting it, but I still think we all need to be aware of how to get it. And not think people aren't having sex. Yeah, they are. I mean, it might be on Grindr now it's bar, but still. Like, Grindr should probably send people a pack of condoms.
Grindr branded condoms.
Right. When you sign up, you get a pack of condoms every 30 days. Well, I don't know who's having that much sex, but not me. I just want the information that we're giving now. I want the drag scene now to know where they came from and whose shoulders they now stand on. I stand on the shoulders of all those people that died from HIV, all those people that were beat up and embarrassed when they were in drag, all those people that fought for acceptance, I stand on their shoulders. People, my friends who have died, I stand on their shoulders. I'm here because of them. I wouldn't be able to walk downtown in a full wig and pink boots unless they had done the same thing. And now that I'm here, every time I put a wig and some pumps on, I'm here because of them. I'm allowed to do that because of them. I think people have to understand that pronouns is a new thing, and I understand it, but you have to also understand that it's new. People are still getting used to pronouns. And then also, like as a kid, like people used to call me ma'am or miss or whatever. I wasn't offended. It's what they saw visually was the pronoun they were giving me. So I think if you're going to identify with a pronoun, let's give off that image of a he, she, they, or them. You can't fault somebody that if you want to be called a female, but you got a beard and no hair. I mean, I think it's people only recognize what they see, and that's the lesson I've learned. That you can be whoever you want to be. You can use whatever pronoun you want to be, but understand everybody else is not going to get it. And if I know a person that presents himself as he or she or whatever, I respect that. And when I know that, then I'll keep doing that. And then if I keep messing up, I'll keep apologizing, because at some point it's going to stick. That's why I don't have a problem with pronouns. And that, remember, there's always going to be a fight. There's always going to be a fight, and be ready to fight for whatever that fight is. Right now, we're fighting laws about men in dresses when it's not a problem. It's not a problem. We're fighting for rights for trans adults. We're fighting for those rights. What I don't get is that people try to use the Bible as some sort of source on what laws should be, but then there's a whole other portion of the Bible they don't want to adhere to that I don't understand. So help me make it make sense. If you want to do this one thing, then that means you need to put laws up against everything else. But because it's you don't feel that it should be done. I think when your right invades or infiltrates somebody else's rights, you have none. You have no right. When your rights go against my rights, you have no rights. Well, when I was younger, you know what I did? I hung out with the older performers. I would go see them. I would go to all the shows they were in, all the people I admired. I would go see them and see what they did. And then eventually I got to hang out with them, either after hours, and then when I started performing, we would hang out in the daytime. They would do hair. They would give me clothes or jewelry or something. And I still have a lot of stuff that I prize. Chelsea Pearl, one of my closest in, I have all the stuff she made me. I don't wear it, but I'm keeping it. I have stuff that people have given me that I don't wear, but I keep it because, such and such gave that to me. I think a lot of them don't honor who came before them. There's a lot that do, but there's some that don't. You've got to know, I keep saying this, you got to know where you're going. You got to know where you came from to understand where you're going and how you got here. I knew that the whole time. The whole time. Because I'd be at the show like, girl, when you doing drag? I ain't doing drag. Girl, Hurricane, girl, when you going to be in drag? I'm like, girl, I'm not getting in drag. What are you talking about? Okay, girl. And then 2-3 years later, fine, about time, girl. I told you it was going to be a drag. You're like, oh, God. Oh, God. But I learned a whole lot of lessons to get here. I don't think everybody's learned those lessons to where they are right now. And I hope that they do, and I think by doing these interviews, it's going to help them understand. Hopefully they'll look at these and understand that it wasn't always this easy. It was not always this easy. It was very underground, very taboo, very hush-hush, very against the law. And now, we're everywhere. In Cincinnati, we're everywhere in Ohio, we're everywhere. And it's okay. It's okay. It's a form of entertainment. I kind of combine it with a theatrical show and a comedy show. So you can either go to Aronoff, you go to Funny Bone, but with us, you'll kind of get both. Sometimes I believe that, like, it's entertainment. It's not a fetish for me. and no, if I look cute, it's because everything hurts. Like I don't know. I don't always know. It's a form of entertainment, and it combines everything that I know: fashion, music, hair, shoes. So, and I have a loud mouth, and I talk too much. That's what it is for me. So, 90 something, and this was when it was over here. Yes, in the 90s, and the pride was held over here. I think we started at Burnett Woods, and then the parade came through here. I was just a sightseer at the time, just to see what was going on. Eventually, I ended up riding with the doc all the time. Yeah. So that's where I was in that. Yeah. I thought it was a great event. I always thought it should have been on the river, but the powers that be always thought it put over here. But it was a great time over here. It was amazing. It was amazing. My favorite pride was the year that same-sex marriage was legal. I was in that parade, but the amount of love you felt just being there was incredible. The atmosphere was just incredible. Everybody was there. It was incredible. I'll never forget that feeling. I'll never forget that feeling. That was my favorite pride. Yeah, I think they had outdid themselves on a record number of people, but that feeling, I'll never ever forget, ever, and just proud that we were, like, I'm not a marriage person, I don't believe, but I'm glad that I have the option. I'm glad people have the option. It just, I can't tell you, it just felt like a huge hug just being there. And then, of course, you had a lot of parents were there, like, I'm a dad, if you need a hug, come over here. I mean, I want to start crying at those, but those were so, I'm a mom, if you need a hug, come and hug me. Like, that amount of love from random strangers. Like, there were so many random people that were just so full of love and adoration, and everybody's glad to be alive. I just loved that feeling. It was, whew. Yes, they make you want to cry. I wanted to hug everybody I could, but I couldn't. I'd still be on the floor. But I'm like, oh my God, I want to hug everybody here. It just was an incredible feeling to know that the city had this much support. Council members just were there. It was insane. Very insane. Very, very insane.
Did you have any hand in organizing for like the doc or for Pride?
Yes, I usually ended up doing the docs. Pride, so figuring out what we were going to do and how we were going to get there and what we're using. I know one year we had a limousine. I think other years we had banners or something. But yeah, I did a bunch of those. And I think one year I remember riding in the back of a trailer or something. Hold on. I'm like, yeah. And people are like, Quasi? I'm like, I'm in a trailer. I'm in a horse trailer. Like, really? It wasn't a horse trailer. I don't know what it was, but I remember being there. But yeah. Pride, crazy. Crazy. Packed. One I remember is we were doing, that night we were doing hot spots. That was where we go out on a box in the middle of the floor and do a number just in the middle of the night. And I remember Penny doing one, and she said, oh, Quasi, book me for every hot spot you got. I'll do all those all the time. Yeah, sure, girl, I got you. But it was just crazy, packed. You have to separate, okay, I got to do this, and then enjoying yourself. So it was like, okay, I got to make sure everybody does what they're supposed to do and then enjoy it. But they were, the shows, the stuff I put together were just memorable. It was all of them. Gay men, straight women, those questioning. We had everybody. I think the majority is probably gay men and just club goers. But for the most part, everybody was there. Everybody was welcome. There were, yeah, I'd probably say very few black people went there. But black people did go. It just, I don't know. I don't know if they didn't feel welcome or they felt part of it. But yeah, it was mostly Caucasian people. I think I sat out those years. I don't think I went back to, I didn't go back to Pride till like 2020. I think it was 2019 or 2020, somewhere in there. Because when I left the doc, and I think I did a couple with, I didn't do any with Adonis, and I did maybe a couple with Below Zero, but I just kept thinking, okay, it's somebody else's turn. It's somebody else's turn. So yeah, I kind of missed, I missed all that. So yeah, I went back and I think after I lost a bunch of weight, I had a gastric sleeve, and I went back. Because I had the energy to do it. Yeah, because I remember I was always in the hospital. I think for a couple of years I remember being in the hospital. Yeah. I think for the longest time it's been, a carnival, which is fine, but we still have to fight. I think there should be a part protest, part fight, and the celebration that we're still here. But with all the stuff that's going on in 2022, 23, that we need to get back to getting charged. Let's get charged up. Let's do what we got to do. It can all be fun and love and rainbows, but we still have to remember there's people coming after us, left and right. So it needs to be. I'm hoping that it will be, because we had the meeting, hoping that it would be partially a protest, and not a protest in a negative way, but a protest for people to understand, like, this is what's coming for you. This is going to happen to you if you don't start going out to vote for those who are with us and not against us. I think one thing better we need to understand is the people that we're voting for, and do that due diligence on what some of these people represent, and voting for people that are going to be best for us, or be of service to us. So I'm hoping that's what happens. No, I think what she was saying, I think what she was saying is that Penny coming out, any of us coming out is a protest already. Yeah. For me, when Penny does a monologue, it's a protest. It's giving you the information about what we should probably be doing. That's her giving it back to them. You don't have to go out and give a blatant in your face, like, screw you, go to hell with you, blah, 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 kind of performance. You can go and do the back way and make people recognized. I remember, I think it was maybe a Black History Month, I did Billie Holiday's Strange Fruit, which we know the song is about, but it came in the back way as an entertainment. So I remember, I loved DJ Brian Rice. We came up with this thing, like, okay, give me a stool and just give me a face spotlight, and that's it. So I came on, I had the gardenias in my hair, a little Billie Holiday outfit, and I just did the song. And you do the song, but you feel the song. You feel the song, you feel the spirit of Billie Holiday. And I remember doing that, and when the song ends, the spotlight just goes out, but I'm still on stage. And the audience went, oh. I remember, going back out, and people said they were crying. They were crying because of the way I did the number. That's a protest, but it came in the back way. It made you go, it should still happen. So if you do a number, you can do it, but go in the back way. I think I told Jessica Diamond at one point about, she wanted to put up a barcode. Somebody told her to put up a barcode on the screens in the bar about supporting trans rights. And they told her, don't start the show until everybody signs up for that. I said, oh, no. I said, you put it up and talk about, make it you. Make it personable about you. Just let people know people are trying to discredit my life, my lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. If you have the time, these things are on the screen, please go support. support my right to be who I am. And I said, even if you only get one, you did what you're supposed to do. You did what you're supposed to do. Somebody heard you. Somebody signed up. That's how you do it. That's how you protest. You don't have to put it out there. You have to go out there and fuck the world, fuck the Republicans. You don't have to do all that. You go the back way. If you're a true entertainer, and a true MC, you know how to go the back way. Yeah. And I think they were also like, well, if I do this, they won't book me, blah, blah, blah. I said, but you have to kind of know how to be an entertainer and do that. You just can't go out there like, rah, 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 you better, blah, blah, blah. People aren't going to absorb that. They're like, what's wrong with this entertainer? Why is she so mad? But if you go at through a theatrical or comedy way, then at least one person's going to go, oh, yeah. Yeah, and I had to back up like, oh, no. You have to know how to do it and make a point and make a stand. So when P does a monologue, she makes a point. I remember that Saturday night when gay marriage was legal, she went out there and gave a monologue about how we are equal to everybody else. We deserve the same rights as everybody else. It's a protest of the fact that we got what we needed. She always would say stuff that was very like, this is what we should be doing. You have to be that kind of entertainer, but people don't know. I think a lot of people just want to be out there because they have something to say and something to do, but aren't really entertainers. Entertainment is making people cry, making people happy, making people laugh at whatever it is you do. It's not, I don't necessarily do it for the accolades. I do it because I like what I do and I love the reaction I get from the audience. That's me winning. Yeah, so somebody was over here like, oh, I remember you from the doc. People, what's the saying? People don't remember what you say, but they remember how you made them feel. So if I'm able to make somebody cry and they appreciate what I did, I won. I won. I do have a fuck dress. I do. So I had back in the day, somebody made me a dress that said fuck all over it. And I had them redo it and it says fuck. And I usually do that CeeLo Green song. But I do the Gwyneth Paltrow version called Forget You. But everybody don't love you. But it's not, I make light of the word and it's just a word. Just a word. Yeah. I would never discount anyone's feelings, but you have to live long enough to know what it really is. If you know absolutely nothing and you feel this way, then why do you feel that way? Because you think you deserve it? Do you think you deserve it? Or do you know how you got here to now want to deserve that? If we didn't have gay marriage at first, we didn't have it. And all of a sudden we do, because why not? My marriage with another man doesn't affect anybody else at all. If you don't like gay marriage, don't marry the same sex. Yeah, don't get gay. Don't do it. Like what? And like gay people and trans people have been around since the beginning of time. Like what are y'all talking about? Men have been wearing dresses and wigs and makeup forever. Like what are y'all talking about? Like what? Caligula had male lovers and like what? They didn't all go to hell. Well, they probably should have went to hell, but they didn't go to hell then. Yes. Them horses and cow thing. There's a line. Cross. There's a line. Caligula. Cut it out. But yeah, when, like I said, when what I do in my life doesn't affect anybody else, why do you care? Have I had a long-term partner? No, not really. Maybe a couple years. I don't think I stand for bullshit. I'm not a very good compromiser. I think I deserve at least honesty and integrity. Yeah, that's what all my people kind of lacked. I have a lot of good male friends that I kind of consider surrogates, but I always tell people, like, if I ever fall in love or whatever, we won't be living together for a long time. You might get a drawer and a toothbrush and a key, but you ain't staying here. I like my privacy. I like me one-on-one time. But I'm happy. I'm happy just to be here. I'm happy to wake up every day. I've got great friends. I've got great family. They appreciate me. I appreciate them. So love, I get. I get love. I give love. So if it never happens, I'm okay. I'm still gonna be pretty. I'm still gonna be pretty. Cause I keep telling people, I would tell people all the time, like, oh, can you do this? You don't do that. And like, the only thing in life I have to do is stay cute and die. I don't have to do anything else. Stay cute and die. That's all. That's my assignment. That's my assignment. So, no, I think I covered it all. I'm still learning. I'm still experiencing. I don't know everything. Well, almost everything. But I still want to continue to learn new stuff, appreciate newer forms of drag. I appreciate people. And I always want people to feel loved and recognized. It may come in as hard criticism, but that doesn't mean I don't love you or care about you. I think everybody deserves to need to be heard and loved. But I can say something that would hopefully help with them and nobody would take as a bad thing. Good or bad. Listen, somebody told me I should change my name way back in the day. And I said, well, I don't look like a Lisa or Stephanie or whatever. Like, my name is Quasi. I'm sticking with Quasi. If you don't like it, RuPaul kept his name. Tiffany, Cher, Madonna, they all kept their names. Like, why should I just wear? No, Quasi, Madonna, in the same sentence. In the same sentence. No, but I'm good. All love. What could be improved? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there is, but I don't know. Like, I did fundraiser for a judge. Who thought that a judge would want me to come help support their campaign and raise money for them? And I did. And she won. So it just gets, life gets more interesting. The more I'm able to do to spread love, I think that's what I want to do. I don't know how to improve things. I mean, we're everywhere. We're in everything. We're at every place in some way, shape, or form. We're always in the conversation. So I think, I'm sure there is some improvement we could do, but right now I'm happy where we are. So, yeah. Yes.